Welcome back to the interview. We got Thanh today.
Yeah.
We got Lon. Man, this is gonna be a special one. You know, because these guys, they got a lot of knowledge that I feel like we should share to the audience. Hey, could you talk a little bit about your short document or your film documentary?
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, thank y'all for having me on here. Thanh Tran, he, him pronouns. What? Shout out. Yeah, from Sacramento, California, man. We working on a documentary, a feature-length documentary. It's called Findingma, right? And the short of it is after being separated for over 20 years in foster care and incarceration, my family reunited after all of this time and asked ourselves the question, how do you heal after experiencing foster care and prison and being separated from your siblings for over 20 years? How do you even move forward from that? And my sister was like, well, let's go find our mom. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this whole documentary is about. It's been a healing journey, that an unexpected healing journey that started with me coming home from prison early, reuniting my family, and then now going on this journey to find my mom, reconnect with her, learn her story, find out why is she houseless and on drugs on the streets of Sacramento. You know what I'm saying? And having these hard convos we wanted to have with her before we got separated for over 20 years. So
Okay. Lon, you want to introduce yourself and how you and Thanh met?
Yeah, so my name is Lon. I'm the executive director at Asian Solidarity Collective here in San Diego. So, Brother Thanh right here, when I was incarcerated, I used to watch him on the state channel when he was doing his little thing over there in prison, right? Podcast and little video, short films and things like that. That was pretty dope. I used to watch him. And sure enough, I parole home, and we're part of the same advisory board committee, which is the New Breath with the New Breath Foundation. And when I hopped on and I seen him on the screen, I immediately messaged him and told him, like, man, it is an honor, bro, to be sitting in the same space as you, And since then, we've been connecting. We been on convenings together up north, and now he's finally came down south down here. We trying to make it as comfortable as possible for the brother.
Hell yeah, we need a round of applause for that, brother. Yeah. Hey, also, I want to ask, for the community or the organizations that you guys are involved in, what do you guys work or focus on?
Yeah, I can start. So I'm a policy consultant with the Ella Baker Center for Human Rights. I do criminal justice reform work, mainly working in coalitions to change state law in California, also coming up with strategies to get our people home sooner from prison. You know what I'm saying? But we focus on changing conditions. We focus on giving our incarcerated folks their voting rights back, right? And we try to figure out pathways of freedom for them so they can come home sooner. You know what I'm saying? So that's some of the work I do at Ella Baker Center. And I sit on a few advisory councils for different programs. New Breath Foundation is one of the advisory councils. Shout out New Breath. Shout out Eddie. You know what I'm saying? They're a grassroots organization and foundation founded by a formerly incarcerated person who was a lifer in prison, came home and had a vision of resourcing the movement, of getting money to our people, our Asian Pacific Islander organizations trying to serve our community. And he's been able to give out millions of dollars to grassroots organizations like Asian Solidarity Collective, API Rise, and the list goes on. You know what I mean? So on that, lastly, two more is that I'm on the advisory council for Uncuffed, the podcast that I started in prison. You know what I'm saying? And also on the advisory council for Asian Prisoner Solidarity Collective. Asian Prisoner Support Committee. You know what I'm saying? I'm mixing them up. Okay. Asian Prisoner Support Committee.
Same fight.
You know what I'm saying?
Lon, you want to introduce what you do?
Okay, over here at Asian Solidarity Collective, we're focused on any mass incarceration, and of course, the bulk of my work go towards building cross-racial solidarity. Trying to show that we all have the same struggles. We all fighting the same systems, and also trying to provide folks who are coming home, with opportunities, whether it be work opportunities or educational opportunities or whatever it is that folks need support with. We try to support them all the way. as much as we can, you know. But given the climate, you know, we really don't get funded for that type of stuff. So you know, a lot of the stuff comes out of pocket or whatever it is that we need to do to support our folks, and that's what we do, you know. Because without opportunities out here, it's kind of rough for folks coming home, especially if somebody did more than 10 years, which you did
10 and a half.
10 and a half. Yep, and myself on this last one, I did 13. And I was provided an opportunity. If it wasn't for the opportunity, I think I would have went back in prison right now, right? I don't know about you, Ton, if you could attest to that. But yeah, that's how it always was. When somebody reached out, seen something in me that I didn't, and gave me the opportunity, reached out, and here I am. You know, I'm giving it back, helping families with
Come on, shout out to that. Shout out,
for some of the people that's not to this stage in life yet, how did you guys ever think that you would do stuff like this, or how did you like connect to stuff like this or tapped in?
Right. Man, happy to start. But nah, man, I never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing today. Like, all of this shit is shocking to me. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was going to die at 18 years old. You know what I mean? I didn't think I was going to survive past 18. You know what I'm saying? So to be here and alive, that already is a miracle for me. You know what I'm saying? But to do the work. So when I got incarcerated, a big changing point for me is when I had to visit my loved ones, right? I remember when I was in the county jail, and my sister had to come visit me in the county, and I was in belly chains and shackles, and I had to visit her through a bulletproof glass. And I'm an 18-year-old kid, and she's like, damn, brother. And we spent like the first 15 minutes of that visit just crying. You know what I mean? And after that, she said something that fucked me up. She was like, brother, did you know that even though you fucked up all your life and all the mistakes you made, you always been my hero? I was like, your hero? I was like, me? You know what I mean? And she's like, yeah, why you think I listened to the music you listen to? Why you think I followed you around? Why did I think I wanted to be like you? And for me, up to that point in my life, I told myself this lie that all of the suffering that I was experiencing was my own, and that all of my actions only affected me, right? If I wanted to be a miserable piece of shit, that was up to me. I was going to be miserable. But when I started to realize that my actions was influencing my family, and then when I saw my younger brother get locked up too, talking about he wanted to be like me, I started to realize like, oh shit, I have influence, right? In a negative way, right? Without even thinking it, I'm creating this cycle, the stuff that I suffer through that I don't want anyone to suffer through. I'm actually the cause of it now. Now I got my little brother in juvie trying to be a gang member. I got my little sister out there broken and hurt, no direction. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that was the big step that was like, all right, I need to change. Into what? I don't fucking know. But I know if I'm walking this path, it's landing me here, I'm going to start going right. You know what I'm saying? Let me start being a square. You know what I mean? Let me try reading a book. Let me try talking to people I usually wouldn't talk to and see what they got to offer me. You know what I'm saying? And it was step by step, right? Walking in the dark that got me to this place that I was in today. You know what I'm saying? So for all our folks who still trying to figure out a path, just know that this shit ain't linear. It's not like a roadmap, and it's not like you're gonna like one day meet somebody and they're gonna be like, this is the rest of your life. It's like, nah, a lot of it is walking in faith. You know what I mean? And faith that if you do good, good will come to you. You know what I mean? And that recognizing that the path that you've been on had brought you nothing but bad. You know what I mean? And that's what led me on this path.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Round of applause for that. And then Lon, we would like to hear how you got into this too.
Dope. Thank you for that, Tom.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so, well, when I was sitting in prison on this last term right here, they really sat me down. They sat me down with a pretty long stretch, you know. Fortunately, there were some law changes and stuff that would make me eligible to come home a little bit sooner. I mean, as of right now, I'm still supposed to be in prison, you know, but thanks for the law changes and things like that. That's why I encourage folks to get out and vote on some of these propositions, some of these bills, because I was one of those folks who didn't think our votes mattered or count, right? But me sitting right here right now is a testament to it. It works. It's people power. Get out there and vote for our folks. Yeah, but when I was in on this last term, man, pretty much I just wanted to, what I had in mind was to be like a youth counselor or something like that, because I didn't want the youngsters to make the same mistake I did, you know, because I used to claim that I love my neighborhood, I love my community, but yet I was doing the opposite of it. You know, I was pretty much destroying it. I would say that I hate it when the police come through the neighborhood. You know, they always tripping. But why are they tripping? It's because some of the stuff that I contributed to. You know, I mean, if I hated that much, then I wouldn't have contributed to some of the things that I did to bring them into the neighborhood, to the community. You know, so I said, okay, some things got to change. You know, I got to show these youngsters, man, like when I come home, like this ain't the way. You know, this ain't it. You know, I was misguided. I was fooled. But yeah, that's where I was at. But then when I did touch down, I came home and I actually met someone through therapy when I was going through therapy for my PTSD and stuff like that. And they introduced me to someone that was involved with the organization, and they introduced me to the organization. And one thing led to another, and I actually got into the work of reentry and alternatives to incarceration, gun violence reduction, and things like that. And then slowly but surely, I became the executive director of the organization. And this is something that I've never in a million years would have dreamt it. Like I would be sitting there like, yeah, one of these days I'm gonna become an ED of an organization. I'm gonna run an organization, you know. And another thing, I'm also an undergrad over at Sandiego State University. That's something too that me and the homies used to always talk about. That like, man, we ain't smart enough to go there. You know, we ain't got the money to go there. But check it out, man. If you know how to follow instructions, bro, man, you can go to college. Don't let them fool you. Don't let it fool you. If you know how to follow instructions, college is for you. If you want to do something more, you know, if you want to learn some stuff, I mean, go learn anything you want to learn, man. There's a whole world out there to learn. And smart is the new gangster now, man. Don't fall,
Come on.
don't fall into that BS, man. Smart is the new gangster.
Man, I respect the both of you guys, man, for where you guys are at now, and you know, hearing your stories from where you were before. You know, there's a lot of, you know, motivation, and I'm very inspired by y'all stories and shit.
Thank you.
So I think they need a round of applause for that. How long have you guys been doing this, and how do you feel about it now?
You mean like advocacy type work?
Yeah.
You wanna go first?
Go ahead, Lon.
I go first. So I met someone from the organization like 3 months out. 3 months out. So I've been I'm going on 3 years now in December since I've been released. So yeah, a little bit over 2 years, close to 3. What was the other question, bro?
I said, how long have you been doing it, and how do you feel about it?
Oh, how do I feel about it? Oh man, I know a lot. People ask me, do I work? Like, cause they see me all the time, like out there in the community, you know, doing whatever I'm doing. And sometimes homies and stuff ask me, like, do you work, man? And then, right? So I tell them, like, nah, I don't work. I just get paid to do what I love doing, you know. So it's what it is, man. I love doing this stuff. I love helping people. I love helping my folks. I love being out there in the community. It's, you know, and I get paid for it, man. It don't get no better, man. If y'all from Sandiego, you see me around all the time on the streets, man, during the work hours and stuff, and you probably thinking like, man, this dude don't ever work. But yeah, I'm working, man. I just get paid for it, bro.
Yeah. It look different.
You've been doing it for a little bit over, what, 2 years? Or
Over 2 years, close to 3 now.
Okay. Hell yeah. And in 5 years from now, do you still see yourself doing it?
5 years from now, oh, absolutely. I could see it being bigger. I could see more of our folks involved. You know, providing opportunities for our youngsters, for our folks coming home. I mean, providing all type of opportunities to everybody that's you know, that's struggling, and that's what we're gonna do. You know, I mean, I was pulled out of it, and I want to give that same opportunity to someone else that need to get pulled out, so they can give the next person another hand, you know, and it keeps going, and you know, we gonna build a stronger community because we stronger together.
Yeah,
Man.
How about you, Tan?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Man, shout out, Lon. I love always hearing and learning about your journey, man, because you paving the way down here for folks, man. Smart is the new gangster, man. I'm telling you, Smart been the gangster. We just didn't know it. You know what I mean? We just didn't know it, man, for real.
Let me touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
So you remember back in the day, man, when we used to clown them dudes that be carrying their books, going to school every day. We used to clown them and stuff. But check game though, man. We clowning them, And they the ones now that we asking them for jobs now. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that making this? Now they clowning us. Like, all of a sudden you need a job. You know, like, you ain't didn't want a job.
You didn't want to work before.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
For real. Yeah. Nah, man, that shit's inspiring, man. And for me, I started doing the work when I was in prison. Actually, it was in 2018. Like at that point, I was already volunteering on the inside, doing like, you know, fundraisers for houseless kids who need a hygiene project, hygiene products, for example, right? Just doing like small little grassroots stuff in that prison. But it wasn't until 2018 when, you know, I seen a whole bunch of people come home from prison during this time. The governor was Jerry Brown at the time, and he did a bunch of commutations. So a whole bunch of people went home, and I was wishing and praying and doing everything I could to be on that list to go home too. But when they switched over to Gavin Newsom and they weren't doing commutations like they was, right? Like I was crushed, right? Because I was still stuck in prison and I didn't have a community to back me up. And I saw how everybody who came home had a community around them. And I remember feeling like, damn, man, like how alone I felt and how helpless I felt. And I told myself in that moment, it's like, man, I don't want anyone to ever feel the way I'm feeling right now. So even though I didn't have a community, I told myself I was going to become that community for somebody else, right? Because I didn't have an advocate who was shouting free Tom, I'm going to become that advocate that's going to say free Lon, free Greg, free G, you know what I mean? Free all my dogs and shit. And when I started doing that work, you know, ironically, is when people started to come around and start saying free Tom too. You know what I mean? And that's what brought me home from prison. But I got introduced to organizing right around 2018, man. I was in the lowest and the darkest places of my life, man, and of my incarceration. I still had like another 8 years to do. And I was like, man, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do 8 more years. I already did like 7. You know what I'm saying? And it was that time when shout out James King, one of my mentors. He's like, Tanya, you should show up to this group. We got a group of incarcerated people who's changing laws from state prison. I was like, no fucking way. You know what I mean? I was like, y'all in prison changing laws. Y'all got power in prison, right? We the most disenfranchised people, most oppressed people. Like I was beat up by guards in there. I was like, man, it was the most fucked up experience of my life. So to hear a person who's in prison with me say that we actually have power and that there's ways that we can tap into this power to create change, meaningful change that will result in more freedom, right? I was like, oh, I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? And ever since then, I've been like all in with the policy work. And I learned all about how laws work in California. I learned all about the organizations that's changing laws in California. And man, bro, I had to get smart. You know what I mean? I had to get real smart. I had to study hella books, had to study this work, you know what I mean? And basically give myself a master's degree in this policy shit. You know what I mean? Self-taught, you know what I mean? Being on the grounds in prison, doing the work, plus doing the study and developing like a political analysis, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't enough. My mentor used to always tell me, it's not enough to have an opinion. Everybody got an opinion. You got to have an educated opinion. You know what I mean? An opinion that's rooted in a perspective. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did, and I spent time developing that. And that's how I got into the work. And man, I love it. It's been like what, 5-6 years now. It's grueling, man. This shit is exhausting at times, and the work can be messy sometimes. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Like we growing, and the more people like Lon and me that's in this space, right? The more we can continue to push this conversation to be more thoughtful and more welcoming. And supporting leaders like me and Lon be able to blossom in this space, you know what I mean, to bring more of us, right? Because I don't want to do this shit forever. I'm trying to do music and film, you know what I mean? This is a part of it, you know what I mean, but it ain't all of it. So
that's what's up, man.
thank you.
Hell yeah. Coming from where you guys came from, when they first approached you about an organization or being involved, what was going through your heads, like on your first conversation to stepping into this, you know, space?
Yeah.
Like, what were you guys thinking?
First?
What were you guys thinking?
I'll go first. I know, like Tom, I came in first as a volunteer. I didn't know what I was doing. All I know was I gotta meet some people and see if I can get my foot in the door. Right, that was my whole intention: get my foot in the door, network, and hopefully my opportunity would arise. And so I was volunteering where I could and when I can. And at the time, I was working another job that I did not like. You know, the way they treat you. You know, it just wasn't it. And so one day, I got a call asking if I wanted a part-time position at the organization. You know, and I remember asking like, what position is it? And she said it was a civic engagement organizer, right? And I was like, what the hell is that? Said, you know, and I was like, yeah, bet, run it. You know, I just knew like this was an opportunity, and I need to take it. And I'm one of those dudes where I'm like, man, I can learn anything. You know, if you show me how to do it, you might have to show me 110 times, but I'm gonna learn it. You know, and that's what happened. I came in, I became the civic engagement organizer, and ran with it, and yeah. So you know, I was kind of I didn't know what I was getting into. So I hear that a lot when I try to approach homies or whoever, you know, out there with opportunities, and they be like, man, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. But it's like, man, just jump in, bro. If the opportunity there, jump in. Just jump in. Don't be scared of it. Just like when we first went to prison, we didn't know what to expect. We went in, right? We went in not expecting, and we learned the ropes. Same thing out here, man. Apply those skills out here, man. What you don't know, what you're getting into, just get into it. You're going to learn it.
That's fire. Yeah. That's some fire advice, man. I hope somebody picked that shit up right now, bro. Cause you dropping jewels on them. That's for real. That was a great metaphor, man. Cause man, like you said, you show up on a yard, you don't know nobody there. You don't know what the fuck the program is, and you gonna learn quick, right? You know what I mean? You gonna learn quick, just like a job. You know what I mean? Now, put in the perspective of supporting the community. You know what I mean? It's just gonna same shit. Dive in, you know. And the difference here, you're gonna be welcome with love. Not with me mugs and people with shanks, you know what I'm saying? But what was the question again before I take us too far off, man? Because a lot took me off, but
you know,
you're good.
From where you came from, when this situation approached you, what were you thinking? Like, damn.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? Like, how were you feeling?
Yeah, man. Like Lon's homies, man. I was feeling imposter syndrome. I was like, man, I'm from the slums. You know what I mean? Nonprofits, white people? I'm like, I don't think I belong here. You know what I mean? And shout out to my brothers who were my mentors. It's like, man, that's exactly why you need to be there. They need more people that look like you in these spaces. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing, like, man, even if you're uncomfortable, right? If there's shit you don't like, speak up on it. You know what I mean? And one of my biggest things and a crusade I've been on since I've entered this space was about changing the culture of nonprofit environments, you know what I mean, and nonprofit organizations, right? Changing how we move and our values, you know what I mean? Because so much of these orgs, they'll talk about, therefore, this mission statement, but really they're about fundraising and making sure that they can continue to pay themselves a salary, right? And that's not every organization, but a lot of organizations fall into that trap, you know what I'm saying? Because they start with trying to do the good work and end up in the rat race of making sure they don't get shut down, you know what I mean? And you lose your soul when you chase just money, you know what I'm saying? So when I first entered the space, I felt like I didn't belong. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like a fish out of water. I felt hella uncomfortable, right? And I kept telling everybody around me how uncomfortable, like all my partners and everybody kept saying, "So, bro, stick with it. Stick with it. If you don't like it, change it." You know what I mean? Be the change you want to see. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did, and that's what I continue to do in these spaces. I just bring me. You know, I can't be nobody else but Tan. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be nobody else but Tan. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be my goofy ghetto self. You know what I mean? That's it.
Hell yeah. You know, I known like these stuff's been around, but it just never came across me, or I never knew anyone involved until pretty much Lon and a couple other people. I know a lot of people is gonna, you know, think like that as well. They know it's around, but they're not aware that, you know, their homies, you know, kind of are involved and shit like that.
Right.
I feel as the more we spread this awareness, the bigger it's gonna get, you know.
Right.
So for people that's struggling and just came out of prison, how could they contact you guys or the organizations? Like, what is needed?
Absolutely. Yeah, I could start. Man, Google Ella Baker Center, Google Initiate Justice, Google Asian Prisoner Support Committee, Google Asian Solidarity Collective. Like, all of our websites have contact information, and they got people that for real answer them. You know what I mean? No, it's not like a mega corporation. You send them a message with a complaint and they never hit you back. You know what I mean? Like, if you tap in with our orgs, we want the community to reach out. You know what I mean? And right now it's a new wave, y'all. It's been a wave of formerly incarcerated people stepping into these spaces. You know what I mean? And currently incarcerated people. I started getting paid for this work when I was in prison. I started the first fellowship with the Ella Baker Center, and they paid me to do the work from inside of prison. You know what I'm saying? And don't even wait till you get out to do this shit. You know what I mean? Reach out now, get connected, build your community. You know what I mean? So that you don't come home to nobody, right? Come home to a community and support. And we want to support you. You know what I mean? So if you're in prison right now and you're wondering how to get in contact, Google. Have your loved ones Google us. Have your librarian Google us, right? Ella Baker Center, Asian Solidarity Collective. There's a gang of us out here, right? And we want to hear from y'all and we want to support y'all. So,
man, every time you speak, when I'm around you, bro, like I find something else new about you that I respect, bro. Like, damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, though, reach out to us. There's folks out here, man, that's there to support us, and ain't no strings attached, man. I know I had given our circumstances from the streets and prison and stuff, you know, when somebody do something nice for you, it's always like, oh, he wants something from me. No, it ain't like that, man. We here for you, and we're here to support. Like, no strings attached. Just holla. I like to tell people that I run into out here, man, I'm like a 7-Eleven. You can hit me anytime. If I'm awake, I'm gonna respond. So if you need help at 2 in the morning and I'm up, usually I am because I'm doing homework and assignments and stuff like that. So just hit me. Look us up, AsianSolidarityCollective.org. Send us an email, or ask somebody in the community about me. They'll slide you my contact. I'll even give it to you right here, 619-484-7651. Hit me if you need some support, you need jobs, educational opportunities and things like that, man. We have resources to help, you know, and if we don't, I probably know somebody that do. So hit us up if you need it. You're not alone. Just know that you ain't alone, man. We out here to help.
you're not alone.
My other question would be, what if they're not from California? Are they still able to hit you guys up?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not from Cali and you need whatever support it is you need, you know, like Lon said, like if we can't help you directly, we're going to point you in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing is like, man, if we can't give you the services you need, right? Like, for example, if you hit us up asking about a lawyer, we not lawyers. We an advocacy organization. We change laws in California. That's what we specialize in. However, we got homies down the way, you know what I mean, that are lawyers. We can push you that way, and then you can holler at them, and then what they do, you know what I mean? Or if you need, like, reentry services, if you're looking for transitional housing, we don't do transitional housing. We change laws in California. That said, we got homies that do transitional housing. We can point you in that direction. So just hit us, man, especially Ella Baker Center. We got a whole mail team, y'all. Like, our mail room is nuts. It's so much fucking mail. You know what I mean? From the inside, you know what I mean? And we take it hella serious when it comes to answering our mail from the inside. So whether it's a phone call or you send us a letter from prison, wherever it is, ask us what you need. And if we can't give it to you directly, we'll point you in the right direction.
You know, the organizations, I think you guys are from 2 different organizations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does the organization ever come together and have an event or anything?
Yeah.
Where does it take place?
Well, it depends on what org or what coalition, what committee, what advisory board you're on. They have different things going on, like every month throughout the year, right? So the first time I got to kick it with Tom was during the New Breath Foundation convening, right? So that's where the first time we kicked it with Tom. We went, we was out in the woods, huh? We was out.
Yeah, I think it was Santa Cruz.
Was it Santa Cruz?
Nah.
It was in Frisco.
I think so.
I remember stopped by the Golden Gate Bridge. We was in Frisco, but we was in the woods of Frisco, looking at some big ass trees and stuff.
Yeah, it was the Redwoods, I think it was.
Redwoods. Oh yeah, we went out there. And the second time was in. No, I didn't make the second convenience. But I made the other thing,
the Oakland event.
Yeah, the Oakland event.
Yeah.
So that's just an example of something that you can meet other organizations. Just recently, I went out to Baltimore, and it was a pretty big convening out there, and it wasn't just Asian organizations. It was like, you know, organizations from across the nation met over there with similar fights and everything, and you know, you just network with folks out there. So that's how, like, when you said, are we able to connect with people from outside of California? That's why, because we make connections with people through these convenings and conferences and stuff, and we have those resources for folks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that community is getting bigger and bigger? Like the organizations, nonprofits and stuff like that? Or is it
well, I'm gonna speak for down here, right? In San Diego. So it'd be like, it is getting bigger, but not at the pace that I would want it to, because I would love for everyone to get involved that's been impacted, you know, and jump on, because like I said, there's power in the people together, you know. Our voices are louder. It's like one to step down and decide they want to go do something else, and then like another one will hop in, like, you know, eventually. So it's like it evens out, but and it's growing, but like at a real slow pace, which is, I think we need to grow faster, because the way they taking our folks in, man, it's not at a slow pace.
That's why I kind of wanted you guys on the podcast, because I kind of want the audience to kind of hear your perspective too. You know, we kind of hear about it, see it sometimes, but we really never like get to talk to you guys about it. So that's why I'm trying to ask these questions.
These are great questions.
Yeah.
No, there's definitely, like Lon said, there's so much work that needs to be done and not enough of us, you know what I mean? And like you said too, it's like before, traditionally, these organizations was not approachable. You know what I mean? Like they had their own little ivory towers, like off to the cuts. They making their bread, saying they helping people. Not sure exactly who they helping. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until, yeah, that's
Not
real.
me.
You know what I'm saying? Like now, you know what I'm saying? That's why now, like people who've been impacted by the shit, folks like me and you who needed these services, you know what I'm saying? And now we're here and we're like, hey, your services ain't cut. It's not meeting the bar. You need to step this shit up. As a matter of fact, you're not even reaching the people who need it the most. You know what I'm saying? So like, for example, a lot of these orgs that do like criminal justice and prison work, most of them don't even be in prisons. They don't even talk to people in prisons, but you represent a whole people that you don't talk to. You know what I mean? That's where the disconnect happened. You know what I mean? And that's why it's important that people like me, Lon, and you, we show up in these spaces, you know what I'm saying, and give a new face to this. Also, so like the community can see themselves in these spaces. Because before I hear about a nonprofit, I'm looking at a white person.
Exactly.
More often a white man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't really relate to the guy. You know what I mean? His experience, and he don't relate to me, and that's why he can't reach me. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important we in these positions to be able to reach our community members. You know what I'm saying? So
that's exactly what I mean. That's why I feel like the audience need to see and hear these things. To okay, the homies in there. Okay,
right.
let me try it. You know,
right.
So I think the more we spread it, the more awareness it'll be out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Love that.
Before we get into the last subject, I kind of want to ask you a couple stuff about like making a documentary, how you came up with the budget, how to get grants, you know, for some of the people, you know, they want to tell their stories so they can follow your steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, I was just talking to Lon about this, man. Like when you give formerly and currently incarcerated people opportunities, oh man, the things that they will do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like I was a slum baby from South Sacramento, man. Like I've been locked up 10 times in total, 9 times as a kid and 1 time as an adult that resulted in a 10-year sentence. You know, like according to everybody, I was meant to die in the streets or die in prison. I wasn't meant to be here as a filmmaker, as an organizer, as a music artist, creating impact in my community. This is what they did not want for me. You know what I'm saying? But when you give people opportunity, like me and what me and Lon has done with our opportunities is not an anomaly. It's not fucking random or a chance or it may happen. This is something that will happen. People will thrive when you give them opportunity. And to answer your question regarding the film, right, and why this ties in is because when I was incarcerated, right around 2018, like I said, I was introduced to organizing. And it blew my mind, right? Because at this point, I truly believed that I was powerless to change my circumstances. And for the first time ever, I'm like, whoa, I'm not as powerless as I thought. And then my good buddy, my boy, shout out Maserati E, he was like, bruh, if you want to be impactful, right, you got to use all the tools available to you. And at that time in San Quentin film, right, they had a program called First Watch, but everybody paroled already. So no one knew how to use those cameras, right? And so there's like, Tom, you should go in there. Take over the film program, teach yourself film, and then teach everybody else film. I'm like, damn, bro, you giving me easy shit to do, huh? Okay. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, fuck it, I'll take it on because I was serious about my advocacy and I'm serious about having to reach with my message. You know what I'm saying? So I went in there, taught myself how to use a camera, taught myself lighting, taught myself fucking editing, right? And then after that, got community involved, and people from the outside started to come in and sharpen my skills and my tools. And then it wasn't until I met my producers. Shout out Grace Lee, shout out Yuri. When I met them, they came in and filmed the documentary. Go ahead.
How did you meet them?
Yeah, so I met Yuri and Grace. They came into San Quentin to film the Roots program that I was a part of. Roots is Restoring Our Original True Selves. It was a program all about Asian culture, history, and identity. Shout out Eddie Zhang, one of the founders of it, right? And they came to film that program, right? And they met me. And they was like, oh shit, there's an Asian dude in prison who started a film program. They're like, who the fuck are you? What's your story? And I told them a little bit about my story, and they're like, oh shit. It's like, look, Tan, I don't know where you're going in life. I don't know when you get out of prison, but let's stay in contact, right? And for years, they wrote me letters. They like give me writing exercises, right? Training me up to be prepared to write grants, to be able to story tell, right? Just sharpening my skills. So by the time I came home and we started filming this documentary, right? They was like, all right, these are all of the skills. This is how you fundraise, right? They showed me one of the ways, which was grants, right? It was like, here is a few grants, right? But you can Google, you can chat GPT, you can use all these different tools to find all of these grants that's available for your specific niche, right? For me, my documentary talks about prison, it talks about foster care, it talks about houselessness, it talks about Asian diaspora, right? So like, for example, great grants like CAM, Center for Asian American Media, they support Asian filmmakers, right? So boom, that's 50K right there. Perfect opportunity to apply to, right? And I had to use my writing skills and my storytelling skills. So when I'm filling out an application, you got to think about it. When you're filling out a grant application for money, right? You're basically doing an interview, but on paper, right? So how they don't get to see you face to face and feel your energy and hear your story. You know what I mean? So you got to become effective at storytelling using your words, you know what I mean? And writing it out. And that's what made me so successful at these grant applications that I've been hitting for, because I've been effective at telling my story on paper. You know what I'm saying? And then once you get some money, oh man, that's when the rest of the money will come, right? Because first you get in the door, you get a few grants, you get credibility. Once you got credibility, now you invite it to all of the parties, right? You invite it to all the gatherings, the convenings. And then once you got the gatherings and convenings, now you with all the other funders. And then it's like, who's that guy over there? And why does everybody seem to know that guy? You know what I'm saying? Before they know it, I'm like, what you do? Oh, documentary? Oh, we support filmmakers. Have you heard about our grant? I was like, no, I haven't heard about this one. There's another 300,000. Here's another 50, 25, 10. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I went about fundraising for my doc to this point. So yeah, man, it's been a hell of a journey. It's been a hell of a journey.
Hell yeah. How long have you been filming it?
Yeah, for my documentary now, I've been filming this one for 4 years, but I started doing film in 2018 too. The same year I started doing policy organizing in earnest was the same year I started doing film in earnest. And I was doing both of those things in prison full time, 7 days a week, 9 to 9, man, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night, every motherfucking day. You know what I mean? Breathed, lived, and shit this shit for years, you know what I mean? And came home prepared, you know what I'm saying? They was like, where the fuck did you come from? Prison?
Yeah. But you know, a quick recap, you know, from where they came from and where they're at now. You know, they was in prison for 10 and a half, 13. Right now he's a documentary producer, director, with organizations and make music. Right. Lon over here, he's like the head of organization pretty much, right?
Yeah, executive director.
From doing 13. So, you know, if you feel like you can't do it, bro, just look at these guys right here. They're here now, you know, and we're trying to spit game to you guys too. And while we're at that, if you had one thing to, you know, stall into these youngsters' head, what would you tell them?
Man, I love and hate this question, right? Because I always think about when I was young, was there something that someone could have said? Mm-hmm. Exactly. And there was nothing no one could have said to me. You know what I mean? I felt like I knew it all. I felt like I was going to die anyways. I'm like, what the fuck? A future? I was like, motherfucker, Jimmy didn't make it past 13. You know what I mean? What the fuck? 18? You know what I mean? Like that, it was unfathomable for me. What I really needed wasn't something that was going to be said. I needed someone to be present. I needed a leader in my community who was representing and walking the walk. You know, I need to visibly see it and for it to be real. Because in my neighborhood, all I saw were people die, go to prison, or become major drug dealers and make it out the hood through major drug dealing. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't much pathways. So for me, I was like, I'm going to be a major drug dealer. Right? I was like, this is the only way I'm going to escape my circumstance and perhaps live past 18 is if I can make enough illegal money now and then fucking somehow bust up out this shit, right? And turn it legal somehow. And that didn't happen. I ended up getting locked up and doing 10 and a half years in prison and suffering more than I ever suffered. You know what I'm saying? So to my younger self, man, I wouldn't say a damn thing. I would be present. I'd be kicking it with him. You know what I mean? I'd be showing him the walk. I'd be like, man, there's a whole nother, I would show him the world. I would show him there's way more than just that 50-mile radius he was kicking it in South Sacramento. You know what I mean? There's a whole ass world down there. You should check out Daygo, man. It's beautiful. That's what I tell this little ass.
Okay. Lon, something you would tell your younger self before all this stuff or a youngster?
Right,
Like, what
right.
would you say?
Just like Todd, I mean, I had this conversation with one of the Usos out here, man, part of the folk movement. Shout out to folk movement, my boy KK.
Shout out.
You know, back when we were full throttle, man, couldn't nobody tell us nothing, right? Just like Brother Tom said, couldn't nobody tell me nothing. Like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and if an older homie come and try to tell me, hey man, go and put that gun down or go do this, you know, what's the first thing that you think? Oh, you was a bust, you know? I mean, that's how I used to think, like, this was off, man, you know. But in all actuality, though, bro, like the homies that know me, bro, y'all know me. I'm still out there, but I'm on some other stuff, man, and I don't hide that. I'll let y'all know, man. Look, I'm on some other stuff. If y'all need the support, I'm right here. Hit me up. But all that other shit, y'all do what y'all do. When y'all ready, come talk to me. And I hope you watching this, man. The young homie, man, that I had that conversation with the other day, man. How you said that you don't go up in there with that hat on, you know, because I told the homie I'll be going to the city council and board of supervisors. You know, I dress like this going in there. I don't hide the fact that I'm a part of a gang and from the streets and stuff. I don't hide that at all, man. I go just like this. And he didn't believe it, you know. So I sent him pictures of me at the board of supervisors, you know, trying to advocate for a proposition and trying to get some more funds for the community and things. When I showed him that picture, he was like, damn, you was for real. Like, yeah, for real, man, you ain't got to, just because of our past, bro, like, that doesn't determine where we go. We can go anywhere, man. And some of you youngsters, man, y'all got to hustle like a motherfucker. Sometimes I be wishing, man, I wish I had the hustle y'all had when I was your age. Man, that grant writing that Brother Tom and JQ was talking about, y'all could fast talk the shit out of anybody, man. Put that shit on paper, bro. You get that legal money and do what you do with it, man. Find your passion, find your love, put it down on paper. You're going to get the bread for it.
Yep, man. We need a round of applause for that. I hope them youngsters been listening, man.
That's real.
Yeah. I hope them youngsters listening. You know, we had to cut our time short today. But we have Tan from SAC, man. Thank you for coming through, man.
Thank you, brother.
Lon, special brother over here.
916.
Come on. Oh, shit.
Thank you, G.
Yep. Thank you guys for stepping down here and, you know, talking to the youth and the audience, man, about your experience and your knowledge.
Absolutely.
You know, it was a pleasure having you guys here, and I hope to have you guys again soon. You know, update on the knowledge and where we're at now and what we got going, how your documentary is, your mixtape, you know. Lon as well, you know. I went to one of his things that he was speaking like about Prop Sixer, you know. You know, it's dope to see like the homie do shit like that, and then seeing you come up to the crowd speaking, you know. I think that's what the youngsters need to see more. So then they were like, all right, it ain't just a white man, or it ain't just, it's the homies too, you know. And if they could do this, I could do it, you know. And that's what I kind of want them to see, and that's why I kind of had both of you guys sit down and kind of share your experience and knowledge today. Thank you for coming, man.
Come on.
Thank you, Lon, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Hey, until next time, the interview, we're going to be back with more inside scoop, man. More knowledge for y'all. Let's go.